Hello, everybody, and welcome to Zentangle Project Pack number 26. This is Julie.
And I'm Molly.
Hi, Molly.
How are you?
I'm good. I am very excited to be here with you today as we introduce this really exciting project pack.
I know. I mean, we say that because we actually get excited about every project pack. It's one of our favorite times during the year when we're about to launch a project pack. The energy is high. We've been working through ideas for a long time. A lot of times we knew about these project packs for like year plus.
Yeah.
So it's like in the background, we're thinking about ideas, how we're going to launch them. And this one has been one that I've felt pretty close to because it's one of the Zentangle philosophies that I really hold dear to my heart. And so we're using the platform of pre-strung Zendalas to talk about elegance of limits, which is kind of fun.
It is fun. And it's kind of cool that you and I are doing this introduction video together because it's a philosophy that you hold near and dear to your heart. And it's a philosophy that challenges me a lot.
Oh, I didn't know this about you, Julie.
And so I talk a little bit about that in some of the videos I do, but it's just kind of both sides of the coin here.
Yeah, it's something I kind of channel on the daily, and I always think about how I think I've been inspired by different artists and creators throughout time. And whenever you look a little closer into whether it's an artist, a performing artist, or a visual artist, or anything, if you really look into it, most of their like really amazing creations comes from some sort of like getting beyond some challenges and being put with limitations. And so there must be something to that sparks that inside of us. And what it is that we all have limitations in our lives. And whenever we're put in a situation where we have a blank slate or we have that open canvas, I think quite the opposite happens. We lose that spark. And so this is kind of a playful way to look at that. So what do you think about taking a look at the materials, and then we'll talk a little bit more about elegance of limits?
I think that sounds good. Yeah.
All righty.
Show them what we're working with. So as always, this series of videos that we'll do will be based upon these materials inside the project pack. But we always say that if you don't have a project pack, just do your best and follow along with whatever you have at home. Although you're going to want this one.
You're going to want it. And we'd always like to say that the purchase of, if you are able to purchase a project pack, it does really support us doing these videos and creating other ones. So that's always good. We like to kind of like make all the options available. So here we are with the surface that we're going to be working on. So we have our insert and this little, put this out of the way. And we have been working on a new set of designs for our pre-strung Zendalas. Zentangle Zendalas have been around for a very long time, and we've had a pre-strung line that we've done, and the original ones are amazing and beautiful. If you can get your hands on some of those, I recommend it. But there's always room for new ones. Yes. And so for this project pack, we decided to use it as an opportunity to come up with some new pre-strung designs. And of course, they're all sort of derived from different ideas, different points around a circle, different curves. And what we try to do is sort of look at some different shapes and metering out of a circle, and then we hand draw them over that. So it's kind of a fun process. So you can see, I don't want to give it all away here, but we have like a couple of them here, and I think it'll be a surprise when we start to like kind of unveil them. So you can see there is quite a few in here, and this is super exciting for the launch of these 8 lessons that we're going to be doing. And what will happen is every teacher is going to pick a design and they're going to work around it. And so we have these are on our beautiful 100% cotton paper, and it's really fun.
And right now, these strings are only available inside the project pack. So it is a very special one.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about these tools that we have.
Again, we were trying to go with something that would add a little punch to this.
Yes.
Like we were like, what can we throw in there that's going to kind of stimulate that idea of like elegance of limits? Okay, so we've worked with Zendalas for many, many years, but like, what do we not usually do in this scenario. And so we thought, why don't we throw in some color and see what we can do with that. So in every single one of these kits, we do have 3 koi coloring brushes from Sakura, and we'll talk a little bit more about those in just a minute.
Yeah, so you'll either have these 3 colors right here.
Well, I think it'll be a mix match. There's 6 different colors, and they are all in random collections of it.
Yeah,
so
these are the other 3. You might find some of these in your project pack as well.
And we went with kind of random colors. We were like, how can we play around with something that's a little different and get some interesting results? And it definitely challenged us. That's for sure.
We also are using this Micron 03, which was a lot of fun. I love this pen. This nib size was new to us, and it was great, especially working on that bigger surface, because the Zentangle, it does take a little longer than the normal square tile.
Oh, I would say double. Yeah, it definitely takes a lot longer. And I think the idea behind the 03 was we really wanted to be able to capture detail, but an 01 can sometimes be almost too fine on the bigger surface. And so we're like, let's find something that will kind of allow us a little more space with that.
We also have our paintbrush for our koi pens, and we'll talk about that in a second. Of course, as always, our graphite pencil, white charcoal pencil, and the tortillons, and then a white jelly roll 10.
Yeah. So we're looking pretty good. So I think what's exciting is when you see each of one of these lessons, you kind of get a feeling for like what that teacher went through when they were trying to design their tile and come up with a good lesson. And I think all of us sort of were like, okay, not only are there limitations in these strings, but we also have some limitations in these materials. And so it's like, it really came up with some good results.
Yes.
Yeah, but it took a while.
It did take a while, but it was a lot of fun, and the exploration and then just the creativity that comes out of it was really exciting.
Yeah. Well, and I know that we all enjoyed kind of working together and being like, oh, I tried this, it didn't work.
Yes.
Then I tried this, and this worked a little bit better. You'll learn a lot from each one of us as we go through our process. A little bit about the koi coloring brush. It is a water-based dye ink. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yep. It's a water-based ink, and they're from Sakura of America. And they created these as really kind of a fun way to make watercolors like more accessible, like on the go, working with them, things like that. So these blend really nicely with water, which is why you have a paintbrush in your materials, and we have our water right here.
I also find them to be like a little more saturated, like you get a little bit more of that marker feel, like that like richness of a marker, but also the like sort of cool like looseness of a watercolor.
They have a really neat brush tip, and so you can get a variety of different lines and widths with it, and working with them like that. So it's a really fun pen. It's not an archival ink. It is that water base, but
it'll last a while.
Yeah, it will last a while. It's really fun to work with.
So we have a couple of tiles here just to show you like how the color is so interesting and so beautiful. And I think one thing we like to tell people is that we cover these all with tangles, you know? So a lot of times it's like we get so caught up in the color, which I think is what happened to us when we started designing these, that we forgot to really focus in on what was important. And so we all actually started over midway through our processes, and then just started being like, let's figure out our tangling process, and then how does the color help accentuate it instead of the color being what it was about. So that was really great for us. So as you can see, it's not supposed to be perfect. Watercolor has like kind of some, I think, nuance to it and some life to it. And I think once you are a little bit more open to that, you can have some really fun results and just let it kind of do what it's going to do. It might have like stroke lines. It might have things that are just a little bit different, but what I recommend is really playing around with it.
Yeah, so if you have some extra tiles laying around, just take some time to explore the use of these pens, and you'll see, and we will walk you through the steps we take in each video as we do it.
Another option too is that you can always follow along with any of these lessons without the color. If you're like, I don't know if this is for me, and then you use them for a different project, then that's totally fine too. And I think that's something to be said, that like within the elegance of limits, there are suggestions but there are really no demands. Like, you have to follow and work around things, but there are a lot of ways to work around things. And I think that's important for all of us to know when we are faced with limitations and obstacles and challenges, that it's not necessarily like, oh, there's only one way for me to go over this. And I was like thinking that to myself, and I'm like, no, there might be a lot of ways.
Yeah, and as always, when working with ink and water and medium, like, be aware of dry times. You want to give your microns a good chance to dry before you put the water on top of them, and vice versa before you start shading on top of the koi pen. So just allow yourself time.
Yes, I agreed. And one of the things we had fun with as we were researching Elegance of Limits was really just like studying other people that have talked about this theme in the world of creative beings. And we found some really good quotes and some great articles. And so we've included them in all of the lessons, and we wanted to leave you with one today.
Yes.
Progress in art does not consist in reducing limitations, but in knowing them better. George Brock.
I love it.
I know. So take care.
Take care. You can always come back to this video whenever you need it during the series for little reminders. But if you are ready to get started, we hope you will join us for day 1.
Can't wait to see what you all create.